What's goody to any and everybody who may be listening? Okay, I'm not done with that bitch yet. I'm not done with Darrell yet. So let's get on back on to Darrell. Okay. I gotta tell you how this whole how he did me. Now he done got him a settlement. Now let's talk about the settlement, but I'm gonna talk about other things too. But we gotta talk about this settlement that he got this $100,000 settlement that he got from this car accident that he was in. Okay, now the only reason that this happened to him is because this was dark magic that how this happened. Okay, and as well, this individual was under the influence of cocaine when he went out. He was high. He was high as a kite when he got up in that car with Amanda. Okay, and whatever that happened to him, that was it. This was considered to be schizophrenia, but I knew better. This was not schizophrenia. This was a demonic takeover. This was black orbs. This was dark matter. This was fear particles. This was anti-light. Now, I just said all of that. Those are all the same names for whatever this black substance is. Okay? The first time I seen them, they looked like black orbs. That's why I call them black orbs. But the more I look at them and study them, they are taking on different shapes. Okay? So that's what this was with that car accident. So he wound up getting a settlement like instantly within the next few days. They came and they had him sign that contract. And once, baby, I gotta tell you, once he signed that contract for that money, it was a motherfucking wrap for the Darrell prior to the accident, and here we are entering the Darrell after the accident, which is two different individuals. He became a shell of his former self, absolutely, and it became this individual who was locked outside of his body. He became an individual who did not want to look inside of his body. He never wanted to look inside his body anyway. But after the accident, that just pretty much put the seal on the deal, and he was locked outside of his body. Okay, he had became paranoid, and again he displayed symptoms of what they would call schizophrenia, but none of these mental illnesses are real. It's all illusions, and they are all based upon the accumulation and the amount of whatever, how many of those orbs or that dark substance that you got up in your body that you are not hammering away at and that you are not healing. So whatever the case may be, this became Darrell. Now he got that money. And I gotta tell you, just like I said, how they treated me like the scapegoat, how I was the one around there cooking and cleaning and all the things, and they won't doing shit but sitting around. And Sharita, the mammy, was ganging up on me with them churn. I had to stutter, and of course, like that was one of the things that they would mock me about when I couldn't like defend myself because of the fragmentation of the brain. I could barely defend myself because of the gaslighting, because of the projections and things of this nature. And when I would get the stuttering, they would be like, duh, 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 or try to mock me for the stuttering. Okay. So after this car at this accident with Amanda, he just became a shell. He was always in pain, always complaining about this, that, and the third. Always just walking around looking stupid. I can recall the time that he was walking around very slowly, and I was looking at him like, what the fuck is he doing? We gotta get into these motherfucking Jehovah's Witnesses as well that he used to have over at the house, looking at me in some type of way as if they could. Every single one of them soulless. Okay, and the way I knew it was through the eyes and the way that they used to look at me. These motherfucking Jehovah's Witnesses. Look, let's go ahead and do our declarations, decrees, and declarations. I decree and declare that any of my soul fragments and light sparks that were caught up in that time period of Darrell being a shell of himself, okay, and these Jehovah's Witnesses are released, freed, and removed and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child, which is myself, which they trying to tell a story about, but they lying about it. Okay, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, the child, which is of course myself, the one and only, gay or not. If I would have been trans or not, bitch, you could never come for me at all, just because you breeding and spreading this negativity to your children against the divine beings. You must be out your mind if you thought that you was gonna get away with that, bitch. All of y'all in that Jehovah's Witness. I decree and declare all of my light sparks and any of my soul fragments caught up in that religion as a whole are freed, released, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. That motherfucking cult. And liars is all y'all are. But anyway, let's get back to Darrell, girl, and getting this settlement that he got, which again they treated me like the scapegoat, even though I was really the most valuable player there, and they had their tentacles into me. They stuck their tentacles into me in order to suck out my light and fill me up with that dark shit, that shit, them dark particles, them orbs. So he got this settlement. I gotta tell you, the bitch. Now I was grateful for the little $1,500 that he gave me. I was great. That's all he gave me though. He gave me a little $1,500, and I was grateful for it because, like I said, I was treated like the scapegoat, like the black sheep, like the one that didn't matter, even though I was the one that mattered the most. And he, child, well, what he gave Sharita and Danielle, cars. He bought them cars. He bought Sharita a Range Rover. Danielle had got her a BMW, something like. I think it was a BMW she got, and I think they got like $5,000 on top of them cars that they got. But when it came to me, he gave me $1,500 and said, "Okay, here." And didn't he want to give me the $1,500? And that's part of the reason why I was going up in that motherfucking barrel to get that motherfucking cocaine up out. It sure was. Get out my face. Go. Out of my face. She all over here in my damn face while I'm trying to tell a story. Damn. So didn't want to give me the $1,500, and again, it was a part of the reason why I went up in there and was taking that motherfucking cocaine up out that damn big. He had a big cigar box full of rocked up cocaine, bitch. See, at the time I was doing the grades, bitch. That shit was some motherfucking Peruvian flake. That shit was some that was some good Thrax, and that's what we called it back in the day. Thrax, we called it Thrax, we called it paint, and things of this nature. Okay. So what else do I want to say about him? Okay. Now let's get on the amount of control that this girl, and she was the dizziest bitch. I don't understand why anybody would allow a dizzy bitch like that to have control over them. This was a dizzy bitch, okay, that like to get knocked upside her head and get her eye blacked. I don't understand why anybody would want a bitch like that to have control of them because she was a dumb bitch. I gotta tell you. So eventually, when he spent all the money, like he had went crazy. He was getting his SSI check. Now let's talk about the SSI check. The bitch, how about she was what you call him? When she the one who get the check, and he had to wait for her to give him his own money. I forgot what the hell they call a benefactor or something like that. She was like a benefactor or a payee, something like that. That she was under. I don't know, child. But the point is, he would not get his money directly. He had to wait for her to get the money, and then had to wait until she felt like giving him his own money, because that's what she would do. You know, he had to call her in order to ask her for the money instead of her just giving him his money like she should have did, like, because she's a stupid bitch and she likes control. She was a control freak and didn't even have control over herself. And that eye that she stayed getting blacked. Okay? So she had an uncanny amount of power over this individual, Darrell. What's next? So let's go ahead and get into. Before I ever called Darrell out, he was calling me out. Before I was ready to come out as gay, he called me out for being gay in front of an individual by the name of Isaiah, who we called T, who was another one of the individuals that we used to be around doing cocaine with. And I'm going to get into T in a separate post, because I had a little dream about him last night, and I don't know why. He called me out in front of T. And I gotta tell you what, I mean, it didn't really do nothing. When he called me out in front of T, it didn't have an impact like that. It did have slightly an emotional impact. But see, I'm glad that it had that impact, because all I had to do was go transmute that energy. And once that energy was transmuted, I did not give a fuck about it after that. It was a wrap for any type of energy harvesting that they was doing surrounding that emotion or that energy. It was a wrap. So, and then guess what happened? So I might as well go ahead and do it here. I might as well go ahead and do that here in this one, where T, I didn't talk to him for a few days, but again, T came right on back around and was curious and was wanting to get that motherfucking dick sucked and was wanting to suck on some dick and was wanting to play, was wanting to play. Of course he was coming around wanting to play. But it won't just T, baby. It won't just T. But I'm going to just keep it at that, because I'm going to save this. So I don't even know why in the world I had a dream about T last night and us kissing. But we just gonna go ahead and decree and declare any cords that connect me to this individual T. Isaiah Thomas, dissolved, dismantled, broken, and destroyed. And any of my soul fragments and light sparks that were caught up in any of that foolery, that playing around that we did with him wanting to chew up some meat and me chewing up his meat, freed. My light sparks are freed, removed, released, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay. What else do I want to say? Well, now this whole series today has been a key. This has been a key. Okay. What else do I want to say about that? Now let's get down on this HIV. So it was years later. Now, again, with this HIV diagnosis, They were so happy to get this news, even though Sharita put on a Oscar-worthy performance, screaming and hollering in my ear, and I was mad that she was in my ear screaming and hollering when I won't even reacting like that. But the point is, that was a stunt in the show. She was put on the show because as soon as I told her, she had went and told the whole motherfucking family. She went and told the whole clan, as a matter of fact. That's my family. She went and told the whole clan because that's exactly what they were waiting for. They were waiting for the diagnosis. They were waiting for me to be diagnosed. And it was that diagnosis that they thought that they can go ahead, let's go ahead and start planning this out and planning this out and doing this, that, and the third. They was just ready for that diagnosis, that thinking that the diagnosis was it for them. That's what they thought. So we were all around in the house, and again, I gotta tell you about this bucking that Darrell used to do, buck up as if he was hard. Okay, and me having to tell him, look, just take it back some notches before I call you out, girl. So we had Dantes' son, Po Boy's son, over there one day. Cortez's son was Po Boy's son. Cortez was over there, and you know this individual, Darrell, had to call me out, call my status out, tell him that I was HIV. That's why, and he was like, "That's why you HIV positive. You done been fucked through and ran through, and they ran through you." See, at this time, I did not know what he was talking about because, bitch, I hadn't been fucked through and ran through. The way I caught my HIV was through one person that I loved, okay? But he was talking about what the Klan had did. Thinking back at what I know now, he was talking about what Mac, what Prince, what Herbert and them other two motherfuckers had did to me in that Masonic ritual, molesting me. Not only that, but when I had got put into the programs, the government programs, and was being passed around to all these old white men, including the Pope at that time. That's what he was talking about. Okay, look, let's go ahead and do our decrees and declarations on that. Look, I decree and declare any cords that are linking me to. I'm not gonna talk about that yet. That the energy surrounding Darrell calling me out in that moment for being HIV positive with Po Boy's son there, to be released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mama, papa, child, in which that child is genderless. Okay? That's why it's mother, father, child. So it's equal between the two genders, between the two energies, which there can only be one, and that's me. And there was no amount of molestations that was going to change that. Okay? Now, I think I'm done. I just said everything I needed to say. Go tell me I had been fucked through and ran through, which was the absolute untruth. Because, no, I was not that promiscuous. Okay, now, I got one more thing to say. Now, let's talk about Darrell and him fucking behind me, just like Ralph liked to go ahead. Ralph liked to fuck behind me, or even, and they probably fucked them before me. Because they was all up in this secret society and in these demonic networks together, plotting against me. Again, the only individuals that I ran across were individuals inside of these secret societies, inside of these networks that were drew to me through the law of attraction because of the black orbs and the etheric courting. Okay? So, Morris Williams. Then we're going to talk about Big Booty Morris again in another video. Okay? Because I ain't quite ready for him yet. I don't already talked about him before, but we got to do a new updated one. Okay? But it was Morris, in which when I confronted Morris about it, he got the fuck up and walked out the door. He ain't had nothing to say about it because he knew it was the truth. And I'm the prober I'm the investigator. Okay, he got up and walked out the door. That gave me my answer. Okay, and Darrell is a liar, is a pathological liar, and he got that quality from Sharita, straight from her. So you can't believe shit he say. He denied it, but when I brought it to Morris, he walked out. Okay. As well, Darrell done said got that dick sucked by Bobby. Now let's talk about Bobby right quick, because he had all sorts of shit down there at the bottom, and all sorts of plaque and shit up on them gums and in between them teeth, them bottom teeth. And Darrell done went on ahead and got that dick sucked by Bobby. Now Bobby, I don't know Bobby to be a liar. I gotta tell the truth. Now Bobby, I don't know Bobby to be a liar. Bobby ain't ever told no lie to me. I ain't ever heard Bobby say no lie. But at the same time, again, like, this individual was in cahoots with all that, because these secret societies and things of this nature. But Bobby told me out of his own mouth that Darrell done sucked that meat, and I know he won't lie, because he ain't ever told me no lie. It's like, you gotta, just because somebody is your quote brother, don't believe them. You need to be watching these individuals that's around you and watching the others. I don't know Bobby to be a liar. Bobby ain't never indicated to me that he's a liar. Everything that Bobby done said he did, he did. But this individual who I know, because I grew up with him, and I know for a fact that he's a liar, denied it. He denied it. But I know it's true. So he done fucked around and sucked Bobby dick. And let's talk about Matthew Skurlock for a moment. Now, I'm going to do a whole separate post on Matthew, because that bitch, I got to talk about and call all my shit back from that bitch. But Darrell was so smitten with one of my exes, Matthew Skurlock, who I met through Morris. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Matthew in a separate post. But Darrell, ooh, he fine. Darrell was all like, ooh, he fine. I got a crush on him. One of my exes now. Ralph and Darrell stayed fucking behind me. Thank you. Bye-bye.